What's up, guys? Welcome to a serendipitous and potentially nerdy episode. So if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. My name's Brent. I'm a full-time photographer. I'm also a full-time YouTuber, but I'm definitely still a full-time professional photographer. And along with my wife, Brittany, affectionately known as Camera Lady on this channel, we have some issues. She has a lot of issues with my workflow, more importantly. Professional issues with our workflow. I think the hardest thing about being a photographer these days and doing what we do is data management. So running a photography business, running a videography business, and running a YouTube channel, we go through a lot of hard drives and we have a lot of media, and dealing with it has always been something that I've done kind of reluctantly, even though I know I should do better. Well, now I'm picking up the slack, I'm catching up, and I'm finally doing better. But what's been the issue? So the issue is stuff like this. So I've got these hard drives. These are like 8 terabytes each, I think. And these are just, I have probably 10 of these maybe. These are just the last 2 years, the last couple of years, I think. And I keep them here. I keep them next to my desk so that I can plug in when I'm editing, or so I can back stuff up to my main desktop. The problem with that is, and I keep them organized and I have them redundantly backed up and that kind of stuff. And I've had cloud storage. Of course, I can't have cloud storage for 80 terabytes, but I digress. The big problem with running our business and doing this kind of stuff, especially with someone else who is working with me, Camera Lady, when she's editing and stuff, she doesn't have access to any of the files that we have, and she can't share any files that she's done with me, not without plugging them into a hard drive and then giving it to me and then me plugging it in. You see where this is going. It's kind of chaotic. She's been begging me for years to get a NAS, a network attached storage setup, and it's just one of those things that I've always wanted one, but it's something has come up because, they're kind of expensive, and something has always come up, something has always been prioritized over, okay, we'll just deal with the hard drives now. We need this money for this thing, or, something that we didn't have, or it's just always been there, and it's always been kicked down the line. Well, I finally got one, and I know a bunch of you over the years have been asking me how I deal with my data and all of that, and I've always kind of avoided talking about that because I just felt so much shame for being a professional photographer and not having a NAS until 2025. But I finally got one. So today I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about how it's helping me personally, and then maybe how I think it can help you guys. It really is a big deal. I cannot tell you how happy Camera Lady is, and how happy I am that she's happy, and how happy I am that I'm able to do all of this stuff. So what did I get? I got the UGREEN DXP 4800 Plus. So this video is sponsored by UGREEN, and I really appreciate that. This isn't going to be a review. This is just going to be me talking about the NAS, why I need it, how I'm using it, and some of the features and specs that are really helping me out with this kind of stuff. But the fact that this is sponsored by UGREEN is kind of the serendipitous part, because, you can believe me or not, I don't really care anymore, but I've tried to be as honest and genuine with you guys as possible. I told you we've been looking into NAS for a long time, and I had it narrowed down to 3 companies. One of them is the main company that I'm sure you all have heard of, and another one is a smaller company that I hadn't really heard of, and then in the middle was UGREEN, something that I have heard of, but they weren't quite as maybe known as the biggest company. And I genuinely had one of these UGREEN models as one of my top 3 picks. And it was just so serendipitous because, like I said, I'm not a tech channel. I'm just a photographer. I've never done anything like this before on the channel with, reviewing these kind of things. So I don't know how I got on their radar, but the fact that they just reached out to me at a time when I had some extra money and was ready to invest in this kind of stuff, it's very serendipitous. And I'm very, very happy with the way the universe has worked out on this. So if you don't know what a NAS is, a network attached storage device, it's basically a really fancy hard drive setup that is like a computer and it has access to the internet. This way, when you're at home, you can have a totally separate device with all of your hard drives, with all of your media, and all of your info that you need on a drive. And anyone in your local area network, that is your house, can access this media. Aside from being able to share any kind of like files or digital media or anything like that between people on your network, it takes the strain off of my PC or my laptop from having to be full of media, so my hard drives aren't as topped off all the time and pushing their limits. And so my PC isn't constantly running when I need to stream things or, stuff like that. Because it's its own little PC, it takes the strain off of my main rig, and I very much appreciate that too. So on that note, let me just go over a couple of specs about this thing and how I'm going to be utilizing those and why they matter. So like I said, this thing, like a NAS, is basically a miniature computer. It has all the components that a computer has: a CPU and RAM and hard drives and Ethernet access, all of that stuff. This is what makes it so powerful. I know it looks just like, some hard drives stuffed in a box, but that box is actually the PC, and therein lies the magic. So this particular NAS has, I think, one of the better bang for your bucks, higher end CPUs in this price point. It's the Intel 12th gen Pentium Gold series. I think it's like the 8505 is like the actual chip model number. So this thing is like a 5-core CPU, which means it's going to be great for multitasking and handling all kinds of files and stuff like that. It's also going to be great for my Plex media server, which I do have, and it's very nice. This thing comes with 8 gig of RAM standard, which is more than enough. I actually installed my Plex setup like that and have been doing a lot of file transferring and stuff with my media, and I haven't had any problem with 8 gigs at all, but it does expand, I think either up to 32 or 64 gig, and I ordered some 32 gig, but they haven't showed up yet. So as soon as the RAM shows up, I'm gonna put that extra RAM in there. It also has 2 extra slots for the M2 drives, which are the little tiny solid state drives that you have in your laptops and stuff. Now these are awesome because they can expand your storage, but I'm gonna be using them as cache storage, which will really help run my Plex server, and that'll also really help with my editing and Premiere and doing 4K and all of that kind of stuff. And then on the front of this thing, we've got all kinds of ports. We've got USB-A, USB-C, SD card, so you can take the stuff straight from your camera and just plop it straight to the NAS. That's really cool. You can hook up other hard drives to this thing to either transfer from that hard drive onto the NAS straight up, or you can back things up from the NAS to the hard drive. But I don't have this just to be a backup for my stuff. This is like the new working hard drive for my entire network. That's how I'm looking at it. And the biggest thing for me is the remote access. So I just came back from Scotland. I was running one of my workshops, and this was the first time being out of the country, and anywhere I'm in Wi-Fi now, I have access to my NAS and I can upload those photos or those videos or whatever. And the cool thing is now when I do that, I can have them on my laptop or a little backup travel hard drive. But then I can now I can immediately back them up. That this is a redundant backup now. But also, Camera Lady has now immediate access to anything I do if I'm away, if we're not together and we're working on a project and she needs something, whether it's photos or videos or whatever. Because as soon as I upload them, she can just get online to the NAS network and get whatever files she needs immediately. That right there has been one of the biggest game changers for us personally, and I'm just so happy about that feature that I finally am able to do that. A couple of other things to note. This particular NAS also, to my surprise, I was very happy to find out that it does have 10 gigabit Ethernet cord built-in spot for 10 gigabit Ethernet cord. So assuming your network can handle that, I'm also in the process of upgrading my network to be able to do that. Right now, I still have the 1 gig, and it's been working great for everything I've been doing. I haven't had any bottlenecks at all. But if I want to do some more really intensive 4K, 8K editing and stuff like that straight from the NAS, that's when this 10 gigabit Ethernet is just going to come in massive handy, because that is really going to speed up my workflow, being able to edit those higher res projects. So UGREEN sent me some hard drives with this, and they sent me some kind of middle of the road 4 terabyte hard drives that are the WD Red Plus drives, which are NAS rated drives. You can do like a little over 100 terabytes in this thing, which is really impressive. So right now I have the 4 terabytes in there for 16, but I have it set up on a RAID 5, which is a 1 disk redundancy. So that just means that if any one of the disks fail in my NAS, that I still have complete access to all the data. The downside is I only get 3/4 of the space, so I don't get 16 terabyte, I get 12 terabyte. But that's the price I pay for a little bit of redundancy built into this thing. And as a professional, and as someone who's just keeping, you know, their life's memories and all that stuff on there, being able to have that redundancy is a very good feeling. And there's different levels of RAID, of ways that you can set up your drive. If you don't know anything about that, that's a totally separate topic, but you know, just look up RAID arrays, RAID configurations, you know, and the great thing about when I was setting up the UGREEN is that it helps you pick the one that you want, whether you want for just pure speed like RAID 0 and all of the space available for the drives, or whether you want a little bit of redundancy or a lot of redundancy. So it walks you through that whole process, and I think that was really cool. If you don't know much about this, it's super easy to get this thing up and going. All right, let me just show you around real quick. I just want to show you a couple things. So remote access is super easy. You can just use the UG link and you can just log in. Once you do that, like I said, their OS, it's really great. It makes everything like super easy to understand, very familiar, you know, your files and all of that kind of stuff. So in here you can make personal folders that no one else has access to. You can make shared folders. You can make different users and give them all different access. Like this, here's my media. So I have photos and videos. This is all the stuff that is accessible to anyone that I allow on my network, namely mostly Camera Lady right now. So if we come in here like 2025, this is all the stuff I've already backed up. So like here's some of the stuff from the recent White Sands trip that I did. Let me just show you, this is the great thing about their file setup, can read all the different types of camera files. So like this is, I was using an Olympus system, and this is their raw images, and it shows the previews just fine. Like Windows really struggles with that. So I'm pretty stoked. Like we can just see all the different raw files and they're all working absolutely awesome. We can come in here and look too at these. These are from my Canon CR3s, and they're all there, they're populating. So that's really handy for me to be able to see what I'm doing and see the files without having to add any extra file reading program or anything like that. And then I got my Plex server stuff on here, TV shows, movies, everything that I'm doing on my personal life, which is great for my family. And then all the programs, all the monitoring you can do with this stuff. The task manager will show you how much the CPU on the NAS is pushing, and the RAM, and the temperature, how hot it's getting. So here's a bit of their photo app. So we can just come in here and just pick some stuff off of my hard drive. Here's some stuff from Scotland. Oh, so here's a bunch of gannets and stuff. Let's just try doing a few of these. Let me just grab these guys here. All right, there we go. So those are all uploaded. So once these are all in here, I can do a lot of stuff like view them. I can share them. If I click on this down here, I've got all these options I can add them to albums. I can download them if I need to put them on a different device or whatever. Then I can come over here to the tools, and some of this is pretty cool. Like I can search for similar duplicate images, like in wildlife, if you're taking bursts of shots. If I've already got one that I like out of that burst, I don't really need any more. So coming over here and like helping to free up space by maybe getting rid of some of those in the bursts. So there's a bunch of cool tools that are pretty helpful here. Another cool new feature is their AI album assistant feature. So in here we can super easily manage the photos. It's got the built-in AI smart recognition and classification. The UGREEN NAS can actually identify and organize the albums based on like people, places, location. So check this out. If I come in here and I made this new album, so this is a conditional album. You can see that right here. So all I did when I hit new album is make it conditional. And then if we come up here, we can edit the conditions. So you can put it in here to, like, if you want to do, you know, a whole album of like the whole year or whatever, you can make it from, you know, the start of the year to the end of the year, that kind of thing. So you can have your memories. You can also do what I did. You can have it sort by people, places, and other things. I picked place and I just typed in Scotland. So this is just a personal album of my phone photos where I'm looking like a dork. Some of them I'm sending to camera lady. But you know, it's just behind the scenes stuff of my trip to Scotland. And I have it all organized here by, well, it did it for me, of like the area that I was in. So Stonehaven, Aberdeen Airport, you know, that kind of stuff. So I think this is super powerful, and I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like this and staying just a little bit better organized. Also, they have this cloud drives. So we could come in here if you have like Google Drive or OneDrive. I think it works with iCloud too, maybe. But I have Google Drive. So we can attach that to the Google Drive. So this is going to be really good for if you want to back stuff up and sync it with your cloud drive to have that extra backup. This is also really good for if you're going to like migrate or upgrade or change your NAS like in any way in the future. I want to check a little comparison though. I want to see the difference between like uploading to my cloud from here with my Wi-Fi versus uploading to the NAS. So I just want to take this folder, and this is like almost 2 gigs. So this is 1.92 gigs. So I'm just going to take all of these. I'm going to drop them into this Google Drive folder that I just made. So right here it's showing like 29, 30 minutes. It keeps going up now. 37, 38, 39. Goodness. So these are all pretty big files. These are shots from my R5 Mark II. It's a 45 megapixel. And these are all the raw images, plus some of the PSDs that I had in there. And the PSD files can get massive, especially if you have like a lot of layers and stuff. Now it's saying 43 minutes, 44 minutes, so it's just going up. If we want to do the same test though on here, I already have it, since I have this wired to the, I only have it through the 1 gigabit right now, but we can come in here to my folder. So this is 1.92 gigs, and I'm the same deal. I'm just going to drag it over here, and look at that. I haven't even upgraded the cache. When you upgrade the cache, this is going to go up significantly. So I'm at 100 meg per second right now, which is obviously faster than Google Drive and uploading to the cloud, but still it'll be a lot faster. Like, wow, that was like 10 seconds and there they all are. So that's it. They're on the NAS now. That was stupid fast. So we went from like 40 plus minutes to 10 seconds, and I haven't even upgraded and done the cache drives yet. That's what I'm talking about. For me personally, definitely increasing speed of things like that and efficiency, that just helps my workflow so much. If you configure your NAS right, you can get up to 1250 megs per second out of this thing. This is pretty cool too. So with their app, you can access your NAS from your phone also. So we can just come in here to their app and log into an existing account, and all we do is put our stuff in here, and now we're in. So you can see that's the name of my NAS up there because I'm a dork, Hallverse, and now I have all the stuff. So if I go here to my photos, now here's that album that I was looking at, and now I can see all my memories there. I can come back out of here, and I can, if I need like my shared stuff, if I need to get into that for the photos, then I can do that. So here's just some random stuff. And I love that it's showing me the CR3 files too, so I can see the thumbnail. So the fact that it reads the CR3 files from my Canon cameras, it also does, like I already showed before, but even on the mobile, it's showing here's the ones from the Olympus that I'm like looking through. And then if I just look at one of the JPEGs here, bam, there it is. There's that adorable little black-throated sparrow. And if I needed that for anything, like I need to post to Instagram or need to share it with somebody, well, now I have access to it. And I'm who knows how far away from my NAS. So for me personally, this is awesome. To have all of that right here on my phone, it's fantastic. So here's just on mobile watching one of the video clips that I had on my phone. If I needed that for anything, look at that adorable little gannet. Oh, he's awesome. Man, such a good time in Scotland. Cool, so there it is. All right there for my phone, pulling from my NAS from anywhere that I have access to the internet. Oh, that makes me so happy. All right, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. There's a lot more stuff that you can do with this NAS and with NAS in particular. You can be as nerdy as you want with this stuff. The sky's the limit once you get one. It's just incredible. But for me, the recap, the things that are the selling point for me, the things that I need and that I want out of this are multiple people being able to have access, me being able to have remote access, an extra layer of redundancy, both with just having the RAID array and just having one more extra hard drive with all my stuff on it. And for the UGREEN in particular, I'm really loving their OS and their apps, just the ease of use. And I'm quite impressed. I'm really blown away by the just super packed hardware that they included. You know, that 5-core Pentium Intel, the up to 32 gigs of RAM, the extra 2 slots of M2 for cacheability, and then I definitely can't forget the 10 gigabit Ethernet, because as soon as I get that set up, I'll tell you what, it's game on. Like, I'm very excited for that. So hopefully this gives you a good idea into like how I'm running my creative life now, and some things that you could do for yourself to just, whether it's a hobby or whether it's a budding profession, or whether like me, you've been doing it for, 15 years and have just shamefully not done it yet. Massive shout out to UGREEN again. I can't believe the serendipitous nature of this whole collaboration. I'm just so excited that they found me and would consider me for all of this, and I'm just so glad to be able to use this, bringing my creativity and bumping up my professionalism. And I'm really stoked to show you guys, because if you've never heard of this kind of stuff before, and if my video helped you out and helped you realize what you might be missing and what you could use to keep going, then that's why I'm here. I'm stoked to bring that for you guys. I'm just really excited moving forward. So hopefully you got something out of this video. If you have any questions about anything that I missed or didn't cover, concerning the NAS and this UGREEN one in particular, leave them down in the comments below. I'll have all the links. You can check this out. Also, I should mention that UGREEN hooked me up with 15% off for you guys. So that discount will be attached to the links that are down below. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped. It's chai time now. I'll see you in the next one.